Hi guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So I will go straight to the point, the essence of this video. So this video is for, but not limited to, GK students. It could be for any foreigner living in Korea or any foreigner who intends to relocate to Korea. So if you're in Korea or you're intending to move out of the dormitory, or you're coming into Korea and you need an apartment or a house, this is what I would recommend doing. And I will tell you guys like step by step on how I was able to go about looking for a house in Korea as a first time and as a foreigner. So to begin with, I did watch other people's YouTube channel, and I saw like people using applications such as Bang and Carrot, I think, and other applications. For me, I did use Bang to look for certain houses, like to look for houses and to check like certain locations I would like, and like if the houses had like the things I wanted the house to have and all. So to begin with, you can start by looking at an app called Zikbang, ZI, or you can use Carrot to look for houses. But the thing you should know is the houses you usually, most of the houses you would see on these platforms are not actually the houses you would find. Like these houses are just like advertisement. They are just posted on this platform so that people would see these houses and click on them, or like call those housing agencies just to know if the houses are available. But in reality, those houses are not really there. They are not actually there. So even if you see houses, at the end of the day, you might not get that exact house which you might find on the application. However, what the application does is it gives you like insight, so you know what kind of house you're looking for, so you know the certain things that the rent would cover, so you would know certain things that your maintenance fee would cover, and also so that you would know how much deposit you'd have to put. So to begin with, if you're looking for a house in Korea, I would recommend going through these apps to have an insight of the kind of house you would want to go for, and then afterwards you can go straight to a housing agency or a house agent called the Budongsan in Korea. So you go straight to the Budongsan and it would be way easier and way faster. Another thing about moving out of the dormitory, well, if you're staying in the dormitory and you intend to move out, is you need to put into consideration like not just, oh, I want to move out of the dormitory, but you need to factor certain things such as the location of the house, how far is it from the school. You also need to put into consideration the rent of the house, because rent is being paid separately from maintenance fee. You also have to look at the maintenance fee. How much is the maintenance fee? You have to look at the deposit fee. How much is the deposit fee? So you need to factor these things before deciding, oh, I want to move out of the dormitory. And for GK students who are under language year, still in their language year, I would not really recommend like moving out of the dormitory right away, like as soon as you begin your language year, or like within the first 6 months. Well, my reason being that during the language year, you go to school every day. That's from Monday to Friday, you go to school. So if you move out of the dormitory, and if you move out of the dormitory, going to school daily becomes exhausting and you get tired and all of that. But when you're within campus, on campus, and you're going to school from your dormitory, it would be more convenient for you. It's not just about saving time or saving cost on transportation, but the fact that you're able to save energy as well, because you need that energy when you come back from class, because you need to review, and also when you have to go to class. So it would be wiser, or it would be best to exercise patience and move out of the dormitory after the language year. So now, how do you find the house, or how do you actually get a house in Korea? As I mentioned earlier, you could look at apps such as Carrot or Chickbang. And then when you look at these apps, they give you insights to know like, oh, certain locations, and then also to know like the pricings, like in terms of deposit fee, in terms of maintenance fee, and then in terms of your monthly rent. So these are the three main things you have to pay for. You pay the one-time deposit, you have to pay your monthly rental, and then you have to pay the maintenance fee. So when you look at these applications, you'd have like an idea, oh, this is the kind of house I want, or like this is how much I can be able to willingly put down for deposits, this is how much rent I can afford to pay. So you have like insight of like how much you can afford to spend, right? And then when you've decided on that, you can try contacting those houses or those house agents which you might find on the applications. And then when you meet these house agents, they will show you houses aside that which you've seen on the app, because as I said earlier, in most occasions the houses which you see on the applications are not available. So they would show you houses. And another thing with showing you houses in person is the fact that there are certain households in Korea, or there are certain property owners that may not accept foreigners for their own personal reasons, or like for certain reasons they might not accept foreigners as residents of their houses. So when you contact the Budongsang directly, when you go and you meet the Budongsang directly, those kind of things would be explained to you. And then also the Budongsang will look for houses where foreigners are being allowed to stay in, and you would get a good house as well. When you get to the Budongsang, however, it's not a free service, because when they show you the house and you've decided on a house, when you've decided that, oh, this is the house I want, you have to pay the Budongsang fee, and then you have to pay a particular I think 30%. You have to do a 30% payment, down payment, so that the house can be secured for you, like stating that this person has paid this amount of money for this house, and then you go on to sign your contract. Because if you see a house you like and you do not make any down payment, least likely would you come back and find that house. So it would be wise that when you see a house you like, you try to make a down payment. So yes, you should be financially prepared before you go house hunting. Another thing is, when you go house hunting, they don't show you these houses, or they might not want to show you these houses until maybe you have like 2 weeks to your move out, or like at least 2 weeks. For example, if you want to move into this apartment in September, if you go in August, like first week of August, they might not want to show you, because they would feel like, oh, you're not ready to move in. I would rather show it to someone who is ready to move in and get the money, right, and sign the contract already. So if you want to move out like in September, then you should start looking for a house like second towards the third week of August, or like the last week of August. So yes, that way it would be easier for you to quickly get a house and to also secure the house you want. Now, if you're already living in Korea and you move you move to an apartment, or you change your location, you would have to report to the immigration office so that your address can be changed. Yes, so once you move into your new place, within 14 days you'd have to go to the immigration office so as to change your address. Otherwise, you'll be fined up to 1 million Korean won. Yes, so you have to report as soon as you move out of the dormitory, or as soon as you change your location, or as soon as you get to a new place. You would have to report your current location to the immigration office within 14 days. Another thing I would say with looking for a house is trying to search with more than one Pudongsang, like house agent. Don't just pick one house agent and decide. It would be best that you go to a house agent and then you see what they have to offer you. You see the pricing, you see the house, because they actually take you to the house, they show you the house, they show you everything. So you see the house, you know about the pricing, you know about the conditions of the housing, you also know about like the contract. And then you also check with another Pudongsang to see if their offer would be better. Then you compare these two or the three, and then you decide on what you want. And then in some cases, some Pudongsangs offer their services in English, which you can go to, and then some of them do not offer their services in English. But if you're living in Seoul, or if you intend on living in Seoul, I can recommend one which I I solemnly would recommend because they had great service. They offer their service in English as well. They were really helpful, and they actually took me around, showing me houses very carefully and telling me their own thoughts on this house. It's like, this is why I think you should take this house, or this is why I think you should not take this house. These are certain things you need to factor. This place is not really close to the station. This place is like this, it's like that. Like, they were very detailed. They were not just doing business like, oh, sign this contract so we can get our money and leave, but like they were being um very professional. They were very detailed with their explanation. And so basically, if you intend to move, if you intend to move out of the dormitory, if you intend to relocate to Korea, if you intend to live in Korea, and you're looking for a house, I highly recommend having a look at the application called Carrot or Zigbang, Zibang, for you to have an idea of the kind of house you'd want to find, and also like the pricing, and also like the location. And then the second step would be to contact at least 2 to 3 pudongsang, that's house agents, to help you find a place. And then the third thing would be to also have your money in hand, like be financially ready, because it would be best to see a house and then secure the house right away. And then also, like, because houses are very difficult to come by, and especially like with houses where they might have conditions like, oh, the land owner or the property owner does not accept foreigners, and oh yes, all of that, all of those factors, to avoid them, and also to like get you a house on time, it would be best if you're financially ready. And what else would I say? And also as soon as you move your location, you should report to the immigration office, except if you want to pay a fine. And also, when you get your contract, you should go through the contract thoroughly because it's written 100% in Korean. And if you find it difficult to understand, then you can actually ask someone to help you go through, or look at it, probably your coordinator at school, or your, I don't know, like someone who is reliable and Korean, who can help you go through the housing contract. So yes, that's all I have for this video. And if you have any questions regarding housing, or like finding a house in Korea, in Seoul particularly, because I don't know how it works outside of Seoul, but I believe it's the same system, but like in Seoul particularly, then I would be willing to answer your questions. Thank you for watching. Bye.